All right, everybody, welcome. Today is Wednesday, August 26th. And first off, apologies for those that watched Monday's episode because I forgot how to count. So I only gave you 4. That's on me. I apologize for that. Today we're first going to start off with Messi. Messi wants out. And I don't know a whole lot about soccer, so I'm not going to spend a ton of time on it. But the only thing I really have a gripe with is that he sent it in via fax. I don't know if that's company policy. I don't think anybody under the age of 35 knows how to properly operate a fax machine. And I know that Messi's been in the league for over 20 years. And he's been doing, obviously, he is one of the top 5 most recognizable names in the world, in the sports world. You have Ronaldo, you have Messi, you have LeBron. I'm sure there's a cricket player that I'm absolutely missing and I'm going to continue to miss. But when you think about notable sports players, Messi definitely comes to mind. Don't fax. What the hell is up with that? That's not something we just call, email, send a paratrooper in. I mean, the man has hundreds of millions of dollars. But if that's the protocol, that's the protocol. Number 2. On the Hi5 series, we've got the Clippers. Clippers had a dominating win. The Mavs scored 111 points. Clippers said, all right, we'll drop 154 on your head. It's a huge, also much needed 40-point plus game. 40-point plus win for the Clippers. This was a rubber match of all rubber matches. They needed this win more, as equally, in my opinion, as they would need a win in Game 7. This is a huge morale turn for them. And to be able to say that they came around as a team and got this dub is huge for them. Now, of course, Paul George has been saying that he's been feeling anxiety and depression, especially with the whole playoff P stuff. Of course, nobody likes to see that. You also can't be giving yourself nicknames. You gave yourself the nickname Playoff P when you haven't even won an NBA Finals. And frankly, maybe he went with the Pacers once. I don't even know if he made it to an NBA Finals themselves because he had LeBron the entire time he was with the Pacers, and now LeBron's followed him to the West Coast too. So I don't think that you can call yourself Playoff P. People give you nicknames. You do not give yourself nicknames. That's rule number 1 of them. That's it. Now, along with this has to help Kawhi because Kawhi's been watching the Raptors drop over 150 a game. This had to be a mental reset button for him as well to say, all right, well, maybe I didn't make such a poor decision. We've always been saying that the Clippers are waiting for the playoffs and they're going to do this and they're going to do this. Well, they waited till the playoffs and then they've been floundering. So we have no idea if last night was a fluke or if this was just them gathering, stepping, and they're going to absolutely shit on the Mavericks again in Game 6. Take it 4-2. So that's one thing we need to think about. Obviously, the Mavericks' backs are against the wall, but you can't expect 80 points a game out of Luka every last single time. It's just not possible. Number 3, Giannis becomes the 5th player to win both the MVP and the Defensive Player of the Year in their career. And I'm pulling up my stats right now. He joins the likes of Kevin Garnett, GOAT, Hakeem, MJ, and David Robinson. 4 first ballot, not even thinking about it, Hall of Famers. And one of them is arguably the greatest player to ever touch a basketball. So, this puts Giannis in a pantheon of pantheons. I mean, this is an incredible feat that not a lot of people can do. And we've only seen one guy that didn't play exclusively in the paint, Jordan, accomplish this. He's also slated to win MVP. If he does that, he will join Hakeem and he will join Michael Jordan as the only 3 people to ever do so within the same season. I don't think you can put an asterisk on that. I don't think that whether the season was stopped or whether it would keep going, I don't think that would have affected this at all, personally. I think a lot of these decisions were made before the bubble, and, within the bubble you had Booker and you had Dame, and they're all making flashes. I think it's going to be really difficult to name an MVP solely based off their performance in the bubble. To me, that just doesn't seem realistic, and they're going to take more of the on-court talent that they saw for the months and months and months before the middle of March. So I do believe he will join those likes, but also he knocked off Rudy Gobert, who won back-to-back and was looking for a third straight. Anthony Davis came in second in Defensive Player of the Year. It's really tough because the Bucks are a defensive-centric team, and they're extremely good at it. Chris Middleton, as the second-best player on that team, he's not producing at a similar clip. There's a very clear delineation between Giannis and Middleton, and what I think hurt Anthony Davis in this voting was that there's not as clear of a delineation between himself and LeBron. Yes, they play different positions. Yes, they have different strengths and weaknesses, but they're both extremely skilled at defense. And just take offense out of this. That when you have two people, not just one, that can guard any position on the court, that automatically waters down the defensive stock of Anthony Davis. Make sense? There we go. Number 4. This one's all about the Cleveland Indians. So tonight, Mike Clevenger is supposed to make his valiant return to the mound after being an absolute douchebag. Douchebag. Not only to his team, to the organization, to the fans, just all-around jerk. And something to support my earlier statements and my rants about Plesac and Clevenger goes to favor the fact that we now have Terry Francona out again. He was seeing a gastroenterologist, and I forget what the exact issue was, but Francona is out for at least the next 2 weeks because of this. So, obviously, he wants to be back out being manager. But, again, this goes to show that just because these people are out there and these people are your teammates doesn't mean that it's a free-for-all out there. I mean, there are people like Carrasco, there are people like Francona that do not have the strongest immune system. They do not have the ability to fight off something like a COVID that maybe Clevenger at 25 or Plesac at 22 or 23 can. And it's ridiculous that as you're making, I don't feel bad for these people. And I don't understand the people that try to sympathize with millionaires in the fact that you don't understand what they're making tens and tens of millions of dollars at all times. Why am I getting phone calls? It's 9 o'clock in the morning. I should not be getting a phone call, nor, frankly, am I going to pick up this phone call. But we don't really necessarily know about any reprimanding that's coming on from the team, whether that's going to be fines. I had assumed we were going to see fines. I didn't think we'd see any suspensions, but it seemed to be the opposite. That, after that 12-day quarantine, that was a suspension in itself. And then at that point in time, there's still no monetary issues with this at all. All right, 5th and last one. This is a lot more baseball heavy than I thought it was going to be. But Albert Pujols, who is who will be easily a first ballot Hall of Famer. No question whatsoever about it for him to make it into the Hall. But what we can see here is he moved into second or third, depending upon how traditionalist you are in RBIs last night. He is at about 2,100 RBIs. He's in that range. I think he's 10 off. And he passed A-Rod to be in sole third position. Now, I call it third. The MLB calls it second. Even though the RBI statistic did not start until, I think it was the early 20s. So that kicked off a lot of Babe Ruths. Now, we, of course, went back and we did the proper statistics. We watched all the games, which I don't know how they got those stats unless we're believing just on paper. So, yeah, you're right. You couldn't really have watched all of them now that I'm talking my way through this. And I also don't know where we got the footage of him from. Did we only film some games? How did we decide what games to film? Regardless, it's probably a question for Ace of Spader. So, to me, he moved into third because somebody was able to go back and calculate what the Babe had done. And the Babe is in second, where Hank Aaron is sitting at about 2,300, a little under 2,300. So that means Pujols has about 200 more RBIs left to become the sole standing leader in the entire history of the MLB for RBIs. I do not know his season average. And 200 sounds like an absolute ton. But he's going to have to probably have about 2 more seasons to get that done. I don't know if he can do it. I don't know if he even wants to do it. I mean, third in itself is incredible. He's in the 600 club for home runs. We already know first ballot Hall of Famer. So it really, to me, solely depends upon how much he cares about these. Does he want to be in the 650 club? Does he want to be in the 700 club? Does he want to be the sole leader in RBIs? This will most likely dictate how long he stays in the game. Regardless, an incredible feat, being second or third alone in RBIs, depending upon whether you take Babe Ruth's stats seriously or not. The MLB actually does not, but Baseball Reference does. So that is it for the Hi5 series from Wednesday, August 26th. There we go. Wednesday, August 26th. My name is Nick. This has been the Hi5 series from the DH podcast, and we'll be releasing our newest episode towards the end of the week. So by Friday, when you get this, I'll most likely be talking about our newest episode as well. So please tune in. I appreciate you subscribing. I appreciate you liking. Comment anything that you want to see about us, anything that we missed, anything that we got wrong. Let us know, and we will talk to you guys soon. Thanks.